Whatever you will see today is pretty much coming from a nerd of the company. I'm one of the co-founders of Misten Labs, participated in both Meta's Libra project, created their cryptography for their blockchain, and you're going to see a few ideas now on how you can build your own startup, some cool ideas that do not exist on any other chains in the world at the moment. And a few of them might be so groundbreaking. Imagine we can even solve the problems that Spain and Portugal faced a few days ago with a solar flare and they didn't have power and all of this stuff. So, in my opinion, the biggest differentiation factor between this chain and any other chain is the concentration of brain power in one single startup. That was very, very difficult to happen in the past because, as you can imagine, the cryptographers in the world and the people who know how to create a new programming language coming all together is very, very tough. Facebook helped a lot on this because Mark Zuckerberg made everybody to flew into Silicon Valley, and eventually we created Libra back then, and all of the big brains actually came to SUI and Misten Labs. We have some of the best awards in the world for innovation and algorithms that it wasn't possible before. And some of this technology is actually used in Web 2 now. It's not only Web 3. This is a nice thing of the blockchains. People believe it's only for trading. But as you can see, like the optimizations and signatures, your digital signatures, your identities are coming from Web 3. And this is a very interesting case. Some blockchains have 0 or 1 white papers with 80 plus. I'm not kidding, but the innovation rate in publishing is so high that I personally, as a Silicon Valley engineer and researcher, I've never seen a company, even at the Google side, Apple side, or Facebook side, to be so successful. And all of them are literally primitives you can use now. I will give some examples in the following slide. One is the native randomness. You don't know it. Many people depend their applications on some external randomness, or like they're doing their own thing to have whatever is required for some excitement into their application. But in SUI, you can do native randomness just by invoking a simple function. You don't need any dependency outside. In a single transaction, this was almost impossible in the past. And it was one of the chains that now you can do games, you can do gambling, you can do even AI. And do you know why AI? Ask ChatGPT 100 times now. For the same prompt, for the same input, it will give you 100 different answers, and then people can pick the one that they want, right? So technically, with randomness, we can seed the input to AIs for the first time to have verifiable AI. So for this request that happened 1 o'clock, and this was the input, even if you asked 20 times before, I will not take it into account. Only for this random seed plus the input, I'm giving you the answer. So we can create for the first time applications that are verifiable on the AI response, even if it's coming from ChatGPT or others, that it's for this request in particular. So use it for games and AI. This is super, super useful. The other thing that you've seen very recently was Walrus, decentralized storage. The main advantage of this is not only the fact that we are having now a place that we can put big data on the blockchain, because SUI is the execution engine, but what we were missing is actually a place that we can also put large data. And we don't want to be centralized. Even the things that happen with power outage, or all of the cloud, the big cloud providers being in the US, eventually we need a place to store something in a more decentralized way. And the applications you can do with Walrus, if you include all of the encryption stuff with SUI, is immense. I won't be surprised if some of you here create one of these applications in centralized mode. DocuSign, imagine what we're doing now, right? We're writing handwritten signatures, and then you can send accidentally an email to my lawyer, and my lawyer can sign on behalf of me. But in SUI, you have ZK login. Only your email can have access to this thing. And you can have Seal or Nautilus to do the encryption stuff and private logic on your private PDFs. And then you can store these PDFs on Walrus. And then you have an engine that you can have any custom logic on how the contract is signed, right? Imagine escalating all of this and replicating to all of the applications you see here. A new Netflix can be created, right? You can even have a new Wikipedia. You can even have a new Instagram. I personally created a chat application on SUI in the very first days. 50 lines of code. Believe me, I was part of the Facebook team, right? I wrote many things on the end-to-end encryption and WhatsApp for payments. You're running my code. In blockchain now, it's super easy to create a social network. Super easy, because everything is an NFT. It's not only art, right? Even your post is an NFT. The other thing you can see is passkeys. Something that I personally realized while working, especially on Instagram, when they tried to provide some incentives for all of the content creators, was these people don't know how to remember a password. They cannot store a good password. They can only do it for Facebook. But what's the difference between Web 2 and Web 3? Facebook has some protection, like you can try 2 or 3 times with your password, even if it's small, and then they can block your account for a few hours. You cannot do this in the blockchain. There is no company behind it. Some hacker can just try multiple attempts until they manage to create your own address, and then they can take it over. So we had to solve this problem without introducing passwords. We managed to have login with Google and have an account on chain, but the next step was I need Face ID. I know people are moving into Face IDs, and now with Face ID you can have an account. Imagine you combine this with ZK login, and now you can have for the first time either my Google account, if it's handed to me, or I use my Face ID. And now with Face ID, even if you cannot change devices because it's an Apple Face ID, oh, I have my Google account on the multi-sig, 1 out of 2, I can still log in with my Gmail. So this will be huge, and imagine how onboarding can change the experience of the average user, especially social network users. The other important stuff you can do now, and people haven't realized this from the applications, you can do very exclusive NFTs or very exclusive freemium versions of software or even books. If you've ever tried, forget about this Bored Ape here. Imagine Amazon purchasing of a particular book. You can see a preview, right? Who can see the full content? Only the payer, only someone who buys the stuff. So now what you can do is you can have partially encrypted assets onto the blockchain. Like Walrus can be used to store all of the assets itself, like the bytes of the NFT or the bytes of the book, the bytes of the software. And then you can even create mystery boxes. You can have gradual decryption of the other pixels of the other pages of the book, or whatever you can imagine, like in your brain now. What can be freemium version, but if you pay, you can have more access to this. If you want to see this NFT for the first time, you have to come to my house. It's not that everybody downloads the image that I own, because many collectors, especially in auctions, you can go to Christie's and many others, they don't necessarily buy the idea that they only have a certificate. So for the first time, we have exclusivity now on anything that you own on the blockchain, and this was almost impossible in the past. If you didn't have the combination of Sui, Walrus, Seal, and Nautilus, and zero-knowledge proofs, these things would be not secure or not transparent, and eventually I've seen many attempts as a cryptographer that I say, there is no way this can work, right? This is bullshit, it's not gonna work. Now exclusive NFTs, imagine if you combine it with time capsules, that I will explain later what it means, why it's super useful. Sui is going to have lightning transactions. It's coming. You cannot imagine what this opens. Now you can even have a full casino or a full game on Sui, a P2P game, where the transactions that are only required for all of this activity to happen, it's only 2. Open a channel, we go off-chain completely, then we return back at the end to settle on the network. And this is not an L2. There is no token behind it. There is nothing. This is pure Sui and pure Sui security, just with 2 transactions to do the impossible. Literally 0 latency. 0. Because you know how Lightning works on Bitcoin? I will explain very quickly how we're going to do it on Sui. Bitcoin doesn't have smart contracts. If you manage to do Lightning on Sui for the first time, you have programmability. So whatever you are doing, it's not only for payments anymore. You can even create referral schemes. You can even have randomness for the first time in the Lightning. And if you have randomness, imagine all of the casino games is P2P. You're playing against the house or 2 people between themselves, right? But how do you do that if you have to pay gas or you have to have all of the time the wallet pop up, oh, you need to sign this transaction. Make your next move, pop up, you need to sign this transaction. All of this game over. And what does this mean? Everything is running off-chain, at least apart from the 2 transactions, opening and close. Now what you can do is you can transfer all of the cost into the off-chain communication. Literally, I'm touching my phone and the Bluetooth connection or whatever connection we have there with the other party, and we can play. We can do transactions. This is super useful as well for the situation that happened now in Portugal and Spain. Even if there was no internet, look at the application, the third one here on the left. I could log $1,000 to my grocery store in a Lightning channel, in a ZK tunnel of Sui. Whatever the logic is with my points, because on Bitcoin you cannot even have the loyalty point and everything, right? All of them are going into the Lightning channel, but in case of a natural disaster, I have $1,000 that I don't even care about power or internet. I could buy stuff from the supermarket, and then with the fraud proof that we're using, you can go and close the channel. Any two-player game, any game with randomness as well, including backgammon, blackjack, roulette, slots. Imagine slots. You can play slots literally unlimited, like billions of transactions. 2 transactions just to open the channel and close the channel. You put 1,000, then you pay, then you finish. Either you lost all your money or you go back to get your profits, and then you go and close the channel. This is amazing. And there is another thing which is super, super cool. The last 2 ones, private logic. The channels, as I explained before, are ZK channels. So technically what you can do is you can even hide what's happening on the blockchain off-chain. So nobody knows if you're like providing all of the viewing keys in case you need regulation. If in the Lightning channel with 0 gas, I'm playing blackjack, or I'm paying my friend, or I'm buying something from the supermarket. And then you can define some extra rules for the first time that you can say up to $500, this doesn't need to be audited, up to $1,000, but everything else, it has to have a viewing key for the regulator. It's huge what you can do now. You can have full games, all of the board games that you're familiar with, if it's between 2 players, because you don't need the hop, right? When you're playing with a casino, you don't need like the Lightning Network of Bitcoin, oh, I pay this guy, and this guy pays the other guy, and this guy pays the other guy, and eventually the casino receives the money. It's one hop because it's a 2-player game. When you buy from the grocery store, when you buy something with a gift card, it's a 2-player game. It's you and the shop, nobody else. I'm looking 1,000 to Amazon, and then, or Starbucks, and then I can go and pay off-chain. I don't even need internet. I'm on the basement. And AI agent channels, because we have this now. AI is fast now, right? It's super fast. So what we can do, in this situation, we give for the first time a place, an arena for the AI to play. We lock the money between ourselves, and imagine a chess game, a poker game between Stanford and Berkeley. They put their algorithms there. There is also Nautilus where you know, yes, this AI agent is running all of the calculations, and voila, you have something that was impossible before. Billions of transactions between the agents, and then when they want to do the settlement, with 0 knowledge proofs, they go back and close it on Sui. The other thing that we did, after we had the Lightning Network, is now you can do video on Sui. I'm opening a channel with someone, then I communicate with WebRTC on the browser. This is live. This is what we did here. And I had one with Damir, the one at the top, that I was on the plane and I was talking to him through Sui. We literally did the exchange of the keys on the Sui network as a coordination layer. Then we have all of the cryptography stuff as explained in the very first slide. Some of the best cryptographers, if not the best in the world, are employed in Mr. Labs. So this one is super secure. It's completely decentralized. You can have a Zoom in your phone, in your wallet. Your wallet is not only for payments anymore. It can be for video. It can replace completely what we knew about end-to-end encryption and communication. And now it is possible with all of this stuff, right? And obviously for every buy that I'm selling to someone, I don't need to pay gas, because these meetings, especially with these nerds here, these guys, it could take hours. You cannot pay like gas for every minute that they're talking to each other. Now bridging. You will see many, many things happening. Sui already has a bridge with Ethereum. Bear in mind what we're planning to do with other blockchains as well, and there is the biggest blockchain in the world that we're going also to create the best cryptography there to bridge as well. And something else you can do, you can even link your accounts between different blockchains in Sui. Imagine someone with Sui Link, the one that you see link an account with Ethereum or Solana. You can even now link a Sui account with another Sui account. And there is a new application, and the new application said, look, I will go to Solana because Solana was first, they have better community, but because Sui is by far better on the technology and innovation side, I want to give them an incentive on the Sui network. How do I do it? Okay, just make them airdrop their money into their Solana account, but in Sui. Just type their Solana address on Sui, and then they can come and claim it. They just need one Sui account to connect it with a Solana account. So technically, we can bring everybody from any other blockchain who is very active into the Sui community. And why this is possible, right? Because the cryptography in Sui was built as a second player in this game, right? We knew what Ethereum and Solana had as problems, and then we created a better system. But what we said, let's have backwards compatibility, and we can verify a signature from Solana or Ethereum on Sui. This is possible now. Solana user just signs on their MetaMask wallet, they come on Sui and they claim their airdrops. This will be huge, in my opinion, and imagine of what you can do to attract new people in your startups. Time capsules. The cool cryptography is not only for encryption and all of the things that you had in mind. You can, for the first time, create a situation where you are encrypting something into the future. Time capsules, you all know, I lock something in a box, and then eventually I say, 3 o'clock in 34 days, it will be decrypted. Either to everybody, but now we have seal. Someone has seen probably what seal is. I give with some logic access to the content to some people. But now we can even have time logic. And imagine if you have time logic, you can have the encrypted NFTs that I mentioned before. You can even have a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire now with gradual revealing information about what is the correct answer. You can even have national exams. You can even give like a gift to your partner, to your wife, to your spouse, and say, look, I'm sending you something. You cannot see it until your birthday. Or you can see something. I'm revealing in a game where I'm going with a sword, like in a AAA game. The other player cannot actually see my sword, but they can see, oh, it's revealing up. By the time they're hitting me, like 1 o'clock, I will see exactly what they have. You can do crazy stuff with a time capsule. It's even for MEV protection. You can even send a transaction. The transaction will be ordered, but because nobody can see it, you have some protection on someone front-running you because they can see what you were trying to do. But with time capsules, we might also be for the first time compatible with the regulations. Yes, your transaction is private for 1 hour. We don't want you to be front-run, but we want you to have some privacy until the execution of the transaction. This is crazy what you can do here. I can imagine for voting and seal bid auctions, like companies, we had the stock market, like the Greek stock market coming into Sui, digitizing their assets in Sui. Time capsules was one of the features and zero knowledge proofs that they needed, because the seal bid auction has to be transparent. It's a whole government, right? So people who are getting an IPO of a company and they want the investors before the company gets the prize, like for the book, to go like live eventually, you need to know that there was no cheating. So it's fine for the bids to open afterwards. And digital wills. This is also super useful. Something that we have a problem as a community. And in my opinion, in the past, I was personally as part of the Mark Zuckerberg team, I was defending, yes, we're going to the regulators, we have crypto. What is the only currency in the world at the moment, or asset, that you cannot actually give to your family after you pass away or after an event? Crypto. Because if it's self-custody, there is no way they can get it from you. With these things, we might create digital wills. You might say, with logic on Sui, if I don't interact for 5 years on the Sui network, this account, my wife has access to the data, to the funds. Time capsules, right? You can do crazy things here. You can even do like as a digital will, literally before, people will start dying. We're at a technology for 15 years old. We're not very big. Eventually, all of the digits will get 60, 70, or 80 years old, and hopefully biotech will help us to live longer, but at the same time, we haven't solved this problem. Sui is going for the first time to have real solutions, probably talking to regulators for this. Internetless. We all believe that internet reshaped our life, and there are cases where for some reason you don't have access. Some people landed in Dubai without having roaming. Some people came to the basement and they say, oh, 5G doesn't work, I have LTE, oh, I have GPRS. I cannot even send the message, because all of the web pages, they require you to have all of this green bar at the top, and you have to run TLS communication. There is some heavy cryptography happening, and it takes 1 minute for the page to load. What is the benefit for the first time of the wallet? It's your first digital signature you ever had in your life, because your wallet is not only for transactions. But then what's the benefit of it? Now, you can fast forward, you can send transaction by just signing over a command and send it to the other party without necessarily requiring a feedback loop. So Spain and Portugal, some towers still gave you access to SMS. You couldn't have internet, you couldn't open a web page. You wanted to buy something from the grocery store, it wasn't possible. But imagine if you have the wallet now, and we had the first experiment happened last year, and the stress test literally the day that this situation happened in Spain and Portugal and some France, that you can fall back into another way of communication. Humanity now is very smart. We know how to handle electricity. We know how to handle waves. We know how to handle signals. Why is internet the only option? The transactions on the blockchain are very, very small transactions. It's not, especially if you're talking about payments, it's just I'm defining an amount, I'm defining a receiver, probably an object, like from which pocket I will pay, left or right, and then you're submitting a signature. That's all you send, right? While you're opening a web page, you need to download the HTML, the JavaScript, everything that you need to run. If they have a video, if they have an image, this is not required on the blockchain. So it can fit in an SMS. You can send it now, and there are situations in some countries across the world that people have 50 or 100 free SMSs. Even if you don't have roaming, you can send an SMS. Here in Dubai, whoever landed until they get the Etisalat and whatever is the local mobile provider here, you could still send a SUI transaction. People who had the special version of SUI wallet that does SMS, they could buy stuff in Spain and Portugal a few days ago. And we managed to do, we say, okay, maybe the tower is not available because I'm in the jungle of Indonesia. And there is not even satellite access because there is a canopy. There is literally, the trees are very tall. What do you do there? So we can now use AM/FM radio. It's very simple to put a dongle, a Bluetooth dongle in your phone, and we're going personally. I take this responsibility to work even on devices that they can work with any backup mechanism. Without internet, I can transact. I can give access for the first time to remote villages in Himalayas, in anywhere in the world. They just need some waves to send the message, no feedback loop necessarily required. Even if you receive it afterwards, the blockchain is protecting you against double spend. It's fine. But you might have made the payment, you might have done something, because blockchain is not only for payments. You might want to open your air conditioner at your home or do something. It's a joystick, and I will explain later why it's a joystick. It's not just for payments, only with your digital signature. You just need a way to send this message. We have even work on underwater communication using the dolphin sounds. I'm personally coming from a village where literally my grandmother and my grandmother was talking the bird sound. I could literally talk. I have an alphabet, like I could do. I'm not kidding, right? And we could even use like our fingers to talk. And then, this is one of the reasons I became a cryptographer, by the way. Imagine you're getting born in a place where you need to talk a language that no other human outside your city knows, right? And we were under some empire that we were actually occupied, and we had to communicate. So eventually, I mean, in my wires, this could create the ability to become a cryptographer. And the ZK tunnels, as I explained before. And look at the last comment below. You can fit a transaction on the blockchain if you create templates on the blockchain. I might say, I don't want to type every single time $10, $9.99 or $12.99 to Netflix. I can create a smart contract template, and I will say, whenever I sign number 1, this means $12.19 to Netflix. When I send in the SMS my digital signature and number 2, this means I want to pay for $50 in grocery store. So people can create now transactions that are a single byte. This has never happened, and because of only the signature being required to be submitted, and only some information that gives you for the intention, now you can fit everything to this thing. These things are not faster than internet, of course, apart from the last one, which is using internet. But if the data is as compressed as possible, now it is something that we can do as humanity. There is a lot of things that you are going to see about blockchain and machine learning. There are three. The three at the top are the most important in my opinion, and people here are going to use the third one to make profit from the blockchains, running agents that are very smart now, and because we're supporting multiple transactions in a batch, programmable transaction is called, agents will do swaps with 20 transactions. I buy something on Burj Khalifa, like 1 square meter on Burj Khalifa, I sell it for gold, then I sell it for stable coin, and then back to SUI. Applications you can do with AI, all of these things. Verifiable data with LLMs, private setting for the first time, white hat hacking. We know how to protect our smart contracts for the first time, right? It is possible now. And you can also see scam detectors and KYC. The team, cryptography team of SUI, Misten Labs, and some universities that we have collaboration will work on a lot of things around AI, many things. We even created the first audit for contracts, right? This situation is real. There was a meme token that actually had unlimited liquidity of tokens, and someone didn't have like a fixed supply. And we found the bug with AI, and we told them, and they fixed it. SUI will be quantum safe. It's a 2-year journey. I was personally one of the people that started from the very beginning, working for even standards with agencies, and like my previous attempt before Facebook. One of the reasons that Facebook hired me, by the way, was an algorithm I created for post-quantum cryptography on the blockchain that is very short, so blockchains can actually operate, because these algorithms are expensive. 235 is the deadline for NIST, National Institute of Standard Technology in the US, for all of the companies to comply. We have to start now. We don't believe the quantum computer is very close. I've done all of the calculations. I'm personally involved in many meetings. Impossible, but you will see encryption, signatures, and zero knowledge to become post-quantum secure in SUI. So your addresses will be quantum safe. Everything of things. There is a dedicated team that is working with robots now. And you know all of the MCP hype and AI and all of this stuff, people believe that, oh, now we have like a version of SDK that all of the agents can communicate together. Then I realized, oh, we did the best work on internet plus now, and I bought something from Temu. I don't even have the API. Let's use the AI to learn the API, and let's have the devices talk together. Now you can create the first coffee machine in the world that talks crypto, even if you don't know the API. And there are a few things that we're going to do that you will be surprised. I'm going personal to come to some car manufacturers. The cars will be communicating between each other through the blockchain. The car plate, you have identity-based encryption, right? We're the best in cryptography. We can have the car behind you tell you have a flat tire on the left side. So it's gonna be insane. Imagine that there will be some devices, the red bullet point at the bottom, Raspberry Pis for SUI, SDKs, people can submit their own code. I will personally airdrop some money for everybody who is doing SDKs for all of the devices, either with AI or their own, and now devices can talk SUI. We are going to give our lights to regulators. Novelty management in particular, and zero knowledge proofs, and SUI is going to have confidential transactions as well. I'm not going more into that, but one of the things is you people will be able to recover your account even if you lose your password. This idea won the first prize in the Bybit hackathon last year. Imagine it was along a local university, and they won against Silicon Valley companies. Like students actually won against like $50 million companies because it's possible on SUI. And the way, we have a problem. Some people can even throw away their passwords and everything, right? So we're going to solve this problem. The way it works, it's called fraud proofs, and we're going to use zero knowledge proofs with fraud proofs. You can go and read the paper, reactive key loss protection. And finally, I'm going to the regulators to standardize solvency proofs. We cannot have our exchanges closing one after the other, FTX and in the past MTGOX. We're the best team. Many of the exchanges are using our algorithms now. We are going to make this a standard. I'm personally working with regulators across the world to create for the first time a standard that people should follow on the exchanges. Many applications outside solvency, we could even solve the COVID-19 problem where some countries were lying on the numbers of the cases of COVID because it's the same algorithm. People for the first time can be the auditors of the exchanges. People can be the auditors of the government claims, of the claims of the hospitals. That's all, game over.